once you know that the breath is Yud He Vav He, so the pronunciation of the breath and the totality of the breath is Yud He Vav He. That's why Adonai is the mouth name, because the breath is accompanying Adonai as it goes out. But when you want the real name of Yud He Vav He, what you have to do is examine the breath. Now, this is very much like Buddhism. When you examine the breath and you breathe through the nose, and this is what the Yud He Vav He name is. It's the breathing through the nose. And that's why it comes in on the seventh day. And it has to do with Yetzirah, things like that. But the whole secret is that the breath through the nose is Yud He Vav He. And they say, oh, it's supposed to be before your eyes all the time. The visual writing of it is supposed to be before your eyes at all times. But the actual breathing is the Yud He Vav He. So if you focus in on the Yud He Vav He, you're actually getting this meditation that is the closest thing to what they make a big deal about in Buddhism. So the Yud He Vav He, see where I should sit here, if I should sit, no, I'm going to walk around. The Yud He Vav He is the breath. And that's, so if you want to have a remembrance of, as they talk about in Islam, a remembrance at all time of God. And like in Buddha, if you want to be like into it like that, like Buddhist meditation, well, Jewish meditation and Judaism in general is that Yud He Vav He is what you're breathing through the nose. And so when you're breathing through the nose and paying attention to it, you're breathing in the name Yud He Vav He. Let me get a sip of water here. So at all times you're supposed to have Yud He Vav He. And that's paying attention to your breath. Now, there are 5 parts of the breath. The Yud has 2 parts. It's the initial in, and then the continuation of the in. That's because the Yud has a connotation also with the fifth world, which is expressed, there's 2 keter. Keters in Atzilut world. There's a Atik Yomin, and then there's an Arik Ampin. So these 2, the tip of the Yud is the 5th world. So the start of the breath is the tip of the Yud. The continuation of the in-breath is the Yud itself, the body of the Yud. And then the holding of the breath is the first He. And that would be the, so the first part goes Yud, that's the Atzilut world, and the tip of the Yud would be the Adam Kadmon world. And then the holding would be the Bria world, then the Vav coming out, the elongation of the out-breath is the Yetzirah world, that's the Vav, and then after the out-breath is the Hey. When you're empty, that's the Oseo world, and then you start again. So it's this constant repetition of the name of God totally in life, which is in just the breath and in the total silence. It's in the total silence because it's through the nose. The shofar remembers this because this is that breath that will come out through the mouth and make a sound. You see, a non-verbal sound. It's also the silent scream that's completely underneath. So when you hear or say the non-verbal, in a certain sense, that's the higher level of sound before words and intellect can be part of it. And then, well, this is basically everything. Just pay attention to your breath, and you're paying attention to Yud Hey Vav Hey. You're in the level of Yud Hey Vav Hey. You know, this answers a lot of the Jew-boos, the Buddhist Jews questions. You know, they think they're big shots being in the Buddhist community, the Zen community, you know, not knowing it's in the Jewish world. And this is the great shame. So the highest level of understanding would be to have Yud Hey Vav Hey. You're breathing anyway, but if you're conscious of it, that is the name of Yud Hey Vav Hey. So be conscious of your breath and how you breathe. You may be surprised. I have other things to say, but right now this is the breathing meditation. You have Yud Hey Vav Hey with you all the time. I think I've done one of these videos, but this is me for today. Can't get higher than that. And quite frankly, there's nothing else. The breathing is living. So when I say I am dead, I'm dead in a different level. I'm dead but breathing.